meeting of Tuesday, June 9th. It is 7 p.m. I now call the meeting to order, and the first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone can stand, please do so. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Thank you very much. Yes.
So folks speaking tonight, can you get really close to your microphone so we can pick it up? I think karaoke, okay? Just let's go in there. Just so our TV folks can hear us. So,
next is public comments, and this would be related to anything that's not on the agenda this evening. Public comments of each agenda. Hearing or seeing no one coming forward, I will close public comments. Next is the review and approval of the minutes of our April 14th regular meeting. Does anyone have any comments? Changes? Quickly, Bart, on the planner's report, is that last paragraph supposed to be in response to Bill? Technical Review Committee update?
no.
Yeah, we have they. There's no reference to who they is.
Yeah, the applicant.
So is this under your report?
No, yeah, that'll be on the
Maybe just clarify that is the applicant for 200 Baylor. Or the applicant is going to. Any other changes, comments? Okay, kind of motion, please, to accept.
Motion to accept the minutes as written.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Oh, I need more discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Next is the draft workshop minutes of the April 14th workshop meeting. Comments by the board? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Bill. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Moving to agenda item number 4 on the regular business. Pursuant to RSA 676:4 in section 202 of the design review of Appendix B, Site Plans and Municipal Code of the Town of Newmarket, New Hampshire, notice is hereby given that a design review application requested by applicant Michael Green of Mercy Church will be reviewed by the planning board to discuss and provide input on the subdivision and development concept for a property located at 308 Wadley Falls, tax map R5, lot 87 in R1 district. The concept proposes a subdivision to maintain the existing house on 2.33 acres with the development of a church on the remaining 9.52 acres, consisting of a 10,000 square foot building footprint with 115 parking spaces with associated utilities and infrastructure. The applicant is on file, and the application is on file in the Department of Planning and Community Development office located in town at the town hall. Relative to this agenda item, this is a design review, so this is an opportunity for an applicant to come before the planning board to just get some general feedback. Nothing's binding, allows the planning board the opportunity to provide the applicant with any kind of potential concerns or items that the applicant may want to do more diligence on and follow up on. Public comments will be open. The butters have been notified, so people will have an opportunity to speak as well. As relative to the use, I just want to clear that in case anyone has any questions about the use of the property. While the use may not be permitted under the town zoning regulations, and Bart can speak further to this, there was a state law passed where municipalities cannot regulate the use of a cannot regulate the use of a property restricting use by a church. So the state statutes will supersede town ordinances in this case. And Bart can comment on that further.
Yeah, I can discuss this as well.
At this point, I'll have the applicant with their name and address and anything, just kind of give a brief overview, and we'll go from there.
So this property is usually 8 blocks across the map R5 and also the substation record. The property is just under 12 acres. The plan shown here is the existing plan, and you can see right there from the left-hand side of the plan is the existing home that's on the property, actually the big white walls.
The property goes quite a ways back. About a third of the lot is taken up by wetland complex, and there is a wetland that runs just behind the existing home and garage on the property that sort of separates the area that the house is from the area that we're proposing the church. I'm just going to go to the next sheet of the
Actually, there's a keyboard underneath there. You might use the, sure.
So this is the proposed plan. So you can see right there. And the zone is 2 acres, but because of some of the wetlands on the property, it is slightly larger than the 2 acre requirement. And we're proposing a 10,000 square foot footprint building that will be a new church for Mercy Church. They actually currently operate out of the high school, which is just about a half mile away from this location, and we're proposing about 115 parking spaces, give or take. That may change with our full application just because we haven't quite narrowed down the floor plan for the church and how much parking we may need. But right now, that's what we have shown on the plan. Actually, for the zoning, only 50 spaces are required, so we do have substantially more parking than is required by the zoning, but we want to make sure we have enough parking for the use that we're proposing. There is municipal water just in front of the property, so we'll be able to connect to that for the building. And there is sewer just a couple of 100 feet away, so we're going to be talking with the sewer department about connecting there. This is conceptual only at this point. We do have wetlands fields delineated, so the wetlands shown on the plan are what is in the field, but the rest of the plan is just a concept. We did show some areas that are sort of that clouded tree line type adjacent to the parking areas and the driveway. That could be potential stormwater and septic areas if we end up needing to go with an on-site septic system for the building, just to have those on the plan. Because this is a state road, it will require a DOT permit, and we have put together a preliminary trip generation memo. We didn't submit that just because we submitted this before we actually got the trip generation memo. But because they're operating their church currently just a half mile away, it really won't have much of a traffic impact because most of the people who are attending church there are already going this route today. So that's really an overview. I can answer any questions that you have, and we don't know of any waivers at the moment. There may be some when we get into the the nitty-gritty of the design, but at the moment we don't know of any.
So
Yeah, so there would be 2 very minor wetland impacts. Put them out on the plan. One is here, and then the second is here. So they're very small. They would, yes. Correct, yeah. All the zoning for both lots would be met from a dimensional standpoint.
question about the wetlands. You said that the wetlands are shown based on the actual delineation of the map, so that they're digitized from the sketch.
Yeah, so they actually, the wetland scientists now, they're able to send us like field located GPS points. So we get them, they're not exact, they're not survey located, so we'll say where they were. So the shape of them.
I'm just curious,
This has got to be a major investment on the part of the church. I'm curious, is what's driving it? Is the high school's not working out? Or you're looking to get your own place, obviously, but it's got to be a major investment. Are you just because you want to have your own place and the high school's not working out? Is that? Just curious, but has nothing bearing on.
I think a big segue is one type of use. What do you envision for your building? Besides services. Please say your name.
So we've been meeting as a high school about 2 years now. They've been great. One of the challenges is that relationship and the Sunday, when they're there pretty much every Sunday of the year, so that those people we are going to regulations, and then there are other things, for example, on Sunday morning, kids utilizing stuff, the library, and sometimes has more things to do, with all the more space to be allow additional children. And then also just the library space is great, like certainly one challenge for some of the younger kids, so that would be another advantage for us as well. And then just to Mark's question or Mark's comment, we don't plan on having a school there full time. We don't plan on offering a daycare there full time. It's really going to be what's happening Sunday morning, and then there'll be other things that'll be offered throughout the week. But the impact of that will be pretty low because say your average class is on Wednesday night with 50 people, and you have 25, 30 cars that show up once a week other than what's happening already like Sunday morning. So that's sort of the main use will be Sunday morning and other things around that. And then as we partner with the town, as we have with the school district, with the rec center, if there's ways to do it, it should be helpful. And we're open to having conversations about that as well.
Appreciate that. Just to follow, so just walk me through on the parking calculations. You're suggesting 115. I guess you probably have a pretty good sense of what you need now, or what you're using now. Is that sort of the basis of coming up with 115?
So if you're looking at the and that spot, when we take the buses out, we're trying to get another spots. So this will allow us to expand a little bit and have some more.
Thanks. So, well, I guess one more. Where I forget her name. The engineer page. Sorry. You mentioned the possibility of maybe going on sewer. Is that really a possibility? Or,
Yeah, so it's only a couple of feet away from the site, so it's certainly less building, we haven't had those buildings in this level yet, so we're not going to be comfortable, but that would certainly be one preference for the
Pump up to that line.
Yeah, exactly, yep.
Have you taken a game where it looks at the site distance and the traveling road? I know it's a state road, but it's a pretty steep hill coming down and a curve.
Yeah, so we have taken some preliminary works until we get the survey, which will encompass the 400 feet in each direction. We don't know exactly where the travel in the land. Right now, our location seems like we do have the 400 feet, but it may change slightly once we actually get a chance to run the profiles and do all of that work. And we do have a traffic engineer who's with that as well.
But that could just result in a further impact on the wetland or buffer.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, yeah, exactly. Ideally, we won't go into that larger wetland to the west. If anything, I think it may actually shift to the east a little bit.
I think we have enough space for a septic system as well if you had to.
Correct.
No test pits have been done yet.
We have done some testing up there. Yeah, so we know we have the capability to do septic on site if needed.
Any other questions for the applicant from the board?
Just for consideration, the lands behind that are conservation lands?
Yeah.
not mistaken. And just nighttime lighting is a concern.
Okay.
Consider further design.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll submit a lighting package with our full application.
Right.
Yeah, sure. Should I answer it?
Oh, no, go ahead. I can write anything.
Awesome. So, based on where you guys are at in the design, are there any risks to the design significantly changing that could kind of depart from this changing, the septic use or parking significantly, anything like that that you foresee at this juncture?
No, those are a couple of things that, may change depending on where we land for, we don't have any floor plans or building footprints or anything like that yet, so if the building shape tweaks at all, with those types of things, we could even tighten it up a little bit. We kind of left quite a bit of space around the building, between the parking and the building, just to leave room for dogs and things like that when we start working with an architect. So those types of things may change, but I would think pretty minor.
Okay. Yeah, I would assume as far as use case, it's, not significantly changing like the amount of restrooms or things that could have like kind of an impact on utility standpoint, I guess.
Yeah, no, I would think so. And I think that when we end up calculating the sewer flow, it will be based on the number of seats, so we'll have to determine the number of seats before we put it in that application.
Yeah, I was trying to kind of couch it in my brain compared to like a structure of similar size and different use case.
Yeah.
Work on that. Okay.
Are you giving any consideration to pervious paving applications?
We have not thought about it yet. It's something we can consider when we're going to determine what we're going to do with the image. So it's something to think about that.
Bill, did you have something?
This may be more of a question for you, Bart. This line of aquifer, is that our?
That's outside our I'll double check tomorrow.
I mean, it's not affected by the site, but I'm just curious where that relates to.
Well, I guess the question of the applicant is any of this in the aquifer protection zone?
Yeah.
Good question. Yeah, there's a lot of impervious surface over the corner. Just wondering if there are opportunities to reduce that, maybe alternative materials as well. If it's deep island effect, a lot. I know it's surrounded by a lot of work, but just something considered during design. Like how can we mitigate that as much as possible? Clothing like how I do stuff, which I'm sure you know, but I'm just wondering if does it all, at least the parking and asphalt.
Well, since the topography is going to direct all of the runoff to the wetlands.
Yeah, so all these will push in that direction most likely, and that's why we accounted for
areas over there for stormwater management. So we'll probably put in, some of the LED infrastructure to start with.
Just as those stormwater infrastructure to go to the bucket.
Right.
Will be one of the requests.
Right.
Any other questions on the board before you come up with one?
As the content, as you noted, Lloyd Wells up there. Would you think any opportunity, I know you allow wetland work, but if the applicant maybe consider some kind of trail connectivity?
What do you look at? Some noise.
It would have to be some work.
Because if you can't, from the trail system, then you can't get over to that, and then the line goes through it without going through.
So it's like, you have to create
That corner is like on a hill, it's around 5 miles.
so many things.
Other than winter months.
I just wanted maybe to bring back the content. As considering 30 years ago when it came out, and maybe introduce that.
You mean allow for a trail?
Yeah.
A trail from, yeah, I see what you're saying.
And if you're willing to, consider that,
Not beholden to this, but I think it might be a cool opportunity, for people to access, because our parking to that, conservation area is very small. So if there's any, maybe potential opportunity to connect, use the parking facility there to, limited amount of spaces, for the public to use, to connect. Yeah, okay. Yeah, something to consider.
It would also, I think it would be mutually beneficial because folks that are churchgoers or that are attending something there can go for a walk in the woods. Which would be connected to a public trail.
But I don't want to presume that Concom wants that, so.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
Yeah.
So is that something like we submit our full application, you just have us go meet with the Concom, or is that?
We could do that, we can bring it, sounds like it requires you to do it, but, maybe Jeff.
Yeah, we meet this Thursday and I can bring it up and then report back to some part,
Sounds good. Yeah, so we can bring it up at TRC.
That'd be great.
Any other questions from the board?
I don't have any.
Are there any members of, any butters here that wish to speak or ask any questions? Please direct them to the board. Butters or members of the public, I'm going to open the public comment.
Hello, Sönke Donlut, 351 Morley Falls Road. I'm not in the matter, I'm just a public commentator. So you spoke to the applicant spoke to the driveway location and the site distance. I drive that road obviously to go home quite a bit, and I also bicycle along that road. This the hill here reaches kind of a crest just before this woodland area here, and as it crests, the road curves further to the right, so the road comes up to a crest here and then curves further down, which means the site distance, I think, is quite limited if you put the driveway this that close to the property line. So I would encourage that to be looked at very closely, because the way it is right now, I think it would be quite problematic, because the cars disappear behind the crest of the hill. No matter where you are on this section of road here, you cannot see a car coming up the hill until it is, on top of the hill. So that's my comment for now. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Kelly Larson, 291 Wadley Falls. I live just up from this proposed development, and I will second what Sanka just said. It's a very dangerous spot. Cars heading west and also heading east because of the crest there. There's a blind spot coming out of our driveway, and so we're to the left. So this would be a significant increase in traffic in that area. I've almost been hit there before. There are walkers and bikers and runners on that road. So taking into consideration the impact of community members and other, I have a lot of other concerns too, but I'm not going to take up a whole lot of time for that right now. No.
Run across 294 Wadley Falls Road. We're on the same road. In the winter, when the snow plows the banks up high, as we found out last year, it's really very dangerous, and that's very close to that hill. so anyone coming this way can't really see. And I must say, the cars do speed going through there, and shouldn't, but they do. And so it's dangerous, and coming this way, it might not be so bad, but coming from downtown, going out of town, it's really dangerous. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Myrna's daughter. I live on the same property. Michelle Cross. One of my concerns is about blasting. We had some issues with the building right directly behind us when they did blasting, and I don't think that we could prove that it was from them, but we did have some cracks in our foundation. I know it's farther away, but that was just a concern. Also, the lighting, for if there's going to be lighting on the driveway 24, or every night, all night, or on the property, any spot lighting or bright lighting in that area, that would be just.
I'd like to add, what about the water situation?
What is the specific question?
Is it gonna be town water, or
Yeah, the applicant is proposing to
is that ditch that goes down to the Burger's house?
couldn't answer that.
Okay. Pardon me?
The applicant would have to meet all the town regulations
Oh,
for
yeah,
connection to the
I'm
water.
sure of that, but I'm just wondering, I think our
Your
water
plan would-
comes from Sewell Farm, right?
That's, I can't answer that question.
Okay. Well, I'm just thinking of all the building that's going on, and there are so many other places that are already constructed that are just empty, and like the place in Greenland and like that, it's like, why build more, take up more space when there's space already taken with parking lots and everything already done? So, I'm just wondering why they chose Newmarket.
It's not for the planning board to inquire as to what a particular property owner is looking to do with their land. Our role is to ensure that any proposed development of any property is meeting with our regulations, which include things such as connectivity to, or availability of water, sewer, utility, traffic impacts, range impacts, things of those nature. People that might have comments.
Well, it seems like it's gonna make quite an impact. Anyway.
Any other?
Robin Leslie, 55 Donnet. Congratulations on the proposed church. I'm very happy for you. The only question or comment I had, I thought I heard commentary regarding wetlands between the house and where the church building would be, and I don't know any buffer for that, and I just want to make sure the planning board is considering snow removal if on that large parking lot, that it's not going to end up into a conservation or wetlands area. Other than that, that's about the only comment I had. Thank you.
That is all part of a technical review process, snow storage. And as the town planner mentioned, there can't be impacts into the buffer, so you couldn't use a buffer for snow storage. Any other public comments or questions? First public hearing? Yeah, probably the first public hearing on this application. The process would be, submittal of a application, the planner will render if it's substantially complete, and then they would schedule a TRC meeting.
Because before the, so just kind of moving forward, once the applicant's ready, it would go to technical review. Basically, that would be the opportunity, and it's a public meeting, it will be noticed. Butters aren't notified, but it's noticed. But if I can take your information, make sure that you're notified. So, and you're more than welcome, but it's just observation only. And the point of that is to make sure that all the technical aspects of the application is being reviewed. And so basically we have a peer review engineer, we have department staff, reviewing this application and get happy on the meetings. And after everyone feels pretty comfortable with where the application is at, they would file an official application. And that's what we would be notified about. So at that point, it will be filed, planning board will see if it's a complete application or not, then it would go through that. Prior to that, PRC, Technical Review Committee, would be the first process.
Okay, next on the agenda.
So the parking lot. Are the contours 2-foot contours that are on this? I don't see it listed.
I believe so.
Slope grant, minimum radius of 2 foot.
No, the contours.
Yeah, there's two.
So the parking lot is 24 or so feet of elevation difference from one end to the other?
Yeah, so we haven't submitted any grading or anything.
No, I know, yeah. It's just something that I wanted to know for technical.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. If anyone, happy to have you stay for the remainder of the meeting. We're going to move into the master plan, and just a brief discussion on that, and then we schedule a public hearing on the master plan.
Yeah, so if anyone has questions from the public, please reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions. Process, application at this point in time. So I'm happy to do that for you. Just want to make that clear.
Actually, I could ask a question that people might be wondering, because I'm kind of wondering so the RSA is the project subject to all regulations of the town except the placement of the use? The placement of the use is the only thing it's not.
I have the RSA right here for you.
No, I've read it.
Okay, right.
Yeah. You can read it. I'll read it again, but I'm not asking you to.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the RSA is, the citation is 674:76. It says, no zoning ordinance or site plan review regulation shall prohibit, regulate, or restrict the use of land or structures primarily used for religious purposes, provided, however, that such land or structures may be subject to objective and definite regulations concerning the height of structures, yard sizes, lot area setbacks, open space, building coverage requirements, as long as said requirements are applicable regardless of the religious or non-religious nature of those of the use of the property, and do not substantially burden religious exercise. So essentially, you can't prohibit the use of
Okay, moving into
Thank you.
presentation of the master plan. Take a few minutes to switch it up on that. Welcome back.
Thanks. Been a little while. So I'm happy to be here this evening talking about wrapping this project up with you guys. It's been definitely a thorough process, but I wanted to just take a step back and remind us all why we're doing this, because it is one of the primary duties of the planning board to create a master plan. And really the only two required sections are the vision and land use sections. But because it's based on a lot of different studies, it's easy to just turn those other studies into chapters. So that's what we have done. The town of Newmarket, I don't know the last time you did a comprehensive update, maybe 2000, 2001, was it 2001? And then over the years, you've done, updates of particular chapters or added new chapters. So this is the first comprehensive master plan since then. So it has taken a lot of work. It's been 2 years basically, and you all formed your master plan committee, and then we spent really about a year gathering public input. The first part of it, we focused on open space and housing because those were funded under the Housing Opportunity Grant and another grant from DES. But pretty much throughout 2024, we spent doing surveys, having community workshops, listening, having visioning sessions, and all the way down to October when there was the charrette for the riverfront. And then we took all of that input and we broke out into subcommittees and pretty much used 2025 to develop the chapters and create what we have now. So we have 10 chapters and plus the implementation. And so this forms the whole basis for your zoning and everything that you're doing as far as regulatory changes. So I wanted to ask you how you wanted to go through this. I have basically each chapter, the vision and goals for each chapter. There's 10. So I didn't know if you would want to go through each chapter, or at this point you want to just make comments on things that you have noticed, and please stop me if we're in a chapter where you want to talk about it, or how would you like to approach it? No, not, yeah.
You need to do the fine tuning.
Yeah, I think that would be ideal. What I have here is just really just what you've seen before is the vision and goals. So if after seeing the chapters in print or on your screen, are there things in there that you want to provide feedback on?
Throughout this coming month, if there's anything that you find, and we can address it after that.
Yeah, and we have to. How many days in advance do you need to post it? 10. Oh, right. So yeah, we can.
Well, you can make changes.
The document goes
As is. Okay. Okay. Sure.
Just to be clear, from anything that you took back from our prior hearings before board or deliberations, is there anything in your mind that's outstanding that you're still looking for input for from the board?
Not really. I think what we tried to do in going through it was reduce any of the redundancies that were between the chapters, and focus the goals more on those particular subject matter. So if you as you're reading, identify things that are still raise a flag. Yeah, Bart and I looked at these pretty carefully, and we've whittled down the size also on a number of the chapters. There were a couple that we didn't really touch that much. The downtown riverfront design chapter, we kind of left that a little bigger, particularly because it's a design chapter and it's kind of a different animal than the rest of the other chapters. And we're also working on the corresponding website. So the website, I think you'll be pleased with. It's interactive, all the chapters are on there, and then we're also doing an interactive implementation map. So all of the actions, we've created location points for actions, and so you can click on, a chapter, and those recommendations and you can cross-reference. It's kind of cool. So data dashboard, right? So that'll be the public-facing item. So yeah.
I just want to make sure we're not holding up
No, I don't think so, Bart. If you had.
Revisit these documents, if anything comes up, it's still a question for you, please, Mark.
Yeah. And if you want, I found this was helpful, but when I was going through, each chapter has, I just did this, so you can kind of quickly see what the goals are. So if you want to, after this meeting, take a look at just these sections where, each one has just all of the goals into those, so you can kind of get a quick overview of what the goals are. So I thought it was helpful just to kind of orient myself and make sure that the transportation goals are all about transportation, and there are threads of things that are similar through each of the chapters. I mean, the river features prominently in almost every single chapter, right? So it's the take on what does that mean for that particular subject matter. So, but there are definitely threads that go throughout. Sustainable development, the importance of the river, walkability and bikeability, and having alternative means of transportation, and also the connectivity to the region in terms of economic development and transportation. So those are kind of woven throughout the whole master plan. So there are similar topics, but it's from the viewpoint of that chapter. So I guess I would just recommend maybe take a quick look at these, and then if you see anything while you're reading the chapters, reach out to us and we can get those in there. So they're a lot. It's a lot, but it should be. It's your master plan. It should be a lot. So hopefully we can schedule the public hearing in July and look forward to implementing it.
I'm curious, is there anything in our master plan that's so unique to us that the surrounding communities don't have?
the document.
Yeah, meaning like the material matter. Yeah, no, the content. Is there one thing that makes us unique than the surrounding communities? I'm just curious.
Well, I mean, I think one of the focuses on arts and culture and economic development is definitely a unique.
Okay.
The riverfront, right? I mean, I think the whole thing is unique, but Newmarket's place in the region, it is surrounded by other, bigger cities, but it's also its own self, and the way that this community celebrates the arts, and that was another subject that kind of wove through most of the chapters, was the history and culture.
Okay, good, thank you. I was just curious.
Yeah, no, that's a good question.
I just have a general comment on formatting. I was skimming through it, and when you take a Word document, change it in PDF, the spacing, the paging changes, and just if you go through that and
Yeah.
there was tables that were broken across pages.
Yeah, it was kind of,
I know.
yeah, so we can fix that for the final posting.
And hopefully, as intended, our website's going to be the main interface when
Right.
I'm using this document. But again, we'll make sure that the PDFs also.
Right, because there will be the ability to download PDFs on the website. So, yeah, I did notice that when I was going back through, some of the boxes had jumped and,
Yeah, it's hard. You gotta play with it. You gotta.
you have to anchor them and there's things you
Well,
have
and
to
also for future boards, because, we won't be doing a whole total rewrite for many, many years. We'll be updating chapters.
do. Right.
How else about
The artist is back
Yeah.
A lot of times you
Yeah.
only one chapter at a time.
Yeah. Well, and I think the key to success is kind of what you're doing is to have our own plan and implement, prioritize and implement the recommendations that are in the plan. Because there are a lot of them and it changes from year to year about what the priorities are.
Anything else? Okay, so we will, have a motion to move this to public hearing. What was the date?
Let's see. No, 14. No.
That sounds great.
And do we anticipate any applications for those?
There may be. TBD. I'll talk about it later. Any motion to move this forward for a public hearing?
Second? Any discussion on that motion? None, all those in favor? All right.
Thank you, Terry.
See you in July.
See you in July. That's better process.
Okay.
When we
It's like,
I think we put it up on the website. So we can
Oh, I'm gonna do that.
It's just gonna take people a while if they want it from it.
Yeah.
If we can give them.
It's already on
It's
the
already
website.
on the
Yeah.
website, but the public hearing date.
I'll make a
Put it on the front
front
page.
page, exactly, yeah.
Last version.
Okay, so, the committee reports. The committee reports. Yeah? You got lots, right?
I got lots. That relies on me remembering it because I just wrote down my notes say Cheryl Quest.
Here, so, can you take,
Yeah, so we met on May 14th, which was after Turtle Fest. The good news is Turtle Fest. Some of it, we had 12 lengthy notes, and we had one note on Turtle Fest was wow. That was it. The only note I took, I was there. It was very well attended. The presenters did a fantastic job. We really about the birds out. So the kids, the room filled completely, and adults are very pleased to see the various raptors. And let's see. Sorry. Oh, geez, we had something that would be. It was sort of one thing I'll bring up because it was the current permitting and conservation commission that a resident on Elm Street came and presented to us about the upkeep of their neighbor's house. Taking into the con, and it was in the public comment section, so we let them continue. But there's nothing we can do to help with what the issue was with his neighbor. And without upkeeping the siding, lawn care, and property maintenance.
Just directly to the council?
I wasn't 100% sure. I thought like code enforcement or town planning department or yeah, not compound. I thought it was interesting though. It was a unique thing, 14 or 15 years on that board to have someone for that specific reason.
Any wetland permits coming before the board?
There was not one last month.
There hasn't been any.
No, there have not, definitely. Yeah, and the other stuff has to do with mostly, yeah, the TRC reported, but I think we'll report, that was one comment I was going to have, is that I guess that's the way the Concom is run. It's interesting that the TRC presentation is like almost like another, because Concom has a rep to TRC. TRC I get lots of questions at the Concom about like new roads and stuff that's in front of the TRC, and I was like, well, wait, talk to the TRC rep from the Concom. Yeah, Luke's great. He does a fantastic job. It's just an interesting dynamic. That's new. It's like, Jeff, don't you know about that? And like, I haven't seen a single thing about that because I'm not on TRC, so I don't know anything about it. So, but it's new. It's fantastic. It's a great plan, and it works well. It's different.
Nothing.
Soon.
So I know. I'm ready.
So Energy and Environment Committee, we had a presentation by Freedom Energy. So those that know, Newmarket their electricity is through Newmarket Community Power. So the town entered into that, I think it's been almost 2 years now. And so, Newmarket Community Power, which gets its power through New Hampshire Community Power, our rates are 2 cents higher than Eversource's default rate for the generation cost. So we're starting to look at whether or not Newmarket Community Power keeps contracting with them or if we switch. So we've been getting a couple presentations from different companies to that end. So like Freedom Energy would essentially be the agent to help us as the town get the best rates. So they get their whatever it is portion of the rate we paid to some generator that we contract with for a certain amount of time. So seems reasonable. That being said, we'll get a new rate in July from New Hampshire Community Power, so we'll see how the rates fluctuate with that. But we are starting to look at whether or not we stay with New Hampshire Community Power or not as a town. But that is the process to basically see out the end of our contracts, which right now are 6 months is the terms each time we get a rate renewal. So if it doesn't end up happening, it'll be something that has 6 to a year kind of lead time to make that change. But ultimately, we're doing that so that we can make sure that the town is trying to basically kind of save the most amount of money for as soon as possible. It's kind of our motivation there. So see what comes of it. That's kind of a big topic for the committee as a whole.
Bill, you want to report on TRC?
Sure. Last meeting was April 14th. We submitted more comments. Basically, it's been more in the state permit approval process. We've won in TRC, 200 road, yes. So mostly waiting for the state approval process to kind of work its way through the system, and then the responses to our.
Yeah. We've received wetland approvals, state wetland approvals, both with AOT radio, basically more comments, or even more information. Subsurface has no decision making.
They also requesting more.
That's the only application that TRC can do. Question, anything on the council's report?
Yeah, the process you all know through,
voted to rename East Street Extension to Cherville Street. Did the second reading of the vote on some of the outcomes, including the sidewalk improvements, and then voted to transfer responsibilities for Chandler Park from Conservation Commission to Public Works and Riverfront Advisory Committee. And first reading of the town manager's contract, which will be done. So typically, obviously my first meeting with you all, what is important for me to share here? Would you like that sort of thing, like a little bit of everything that we do, or more stuff that's just pertinent for planning board?
Ideally pertinent for planning board purposes, or what the council is looking for. Move the page, go back to the planning board, council relative to doing a joint meeting. We're supposed to be having an annual, I don't think we have. And if maybe we could get that on the books this fall, would be good. And then if the council is looking for anything particular from the planning board as to, us working on particular, zoning matters. Anything else that any thought you'd be looking for?
Yeah, I think that should fall pretty fine, because I think if the board adopts master plan in July, I would like to August have a goal setting meeting, like what we want to do moving forward, and that might dovetail well with the council,
Council, action.
Going back to CIP for a second, what is the timeline around that?
Now, budget September 15th, or the recommendation should come
Okay.
in 2 months. Let's see. Riverfront Bike Committee, at their last meeting, they started to put together a work plan for the year, what kind of goals they want to accomplish. And they're really excited about Chairman Park. We are, so as everyone knows, at town meeting, granted authorization for administration to up to $100,000 to borrow for stormwater work improvements. It'll be a ongoing project, and that'll be 20% forgiveness. Anyways, point being, there's going to be a lot of engagement for that project. What they're doing now is collecting data, and from there, part of our track, we would be negotiating public and butters on the future Shannon Park eligibility. So it's kind of building up all the documents and all the planning that we already done. So that's like environmental, from brook, quality, to recreation, to arts and culture, and ecological improvements. So again, so that we're starting to snowball and pick up momentum there. So on that note, the town, in partnership with SRCC, Strategic Implementation, is submitting a coastal resiliency grant for $40,000 to help with this process. So we're hopeful that we get that. It's kind of building off of what we've already figured was money for already, just for this downtown waterfront area. So to help pay for those planning issues.
So it's still for planning design.
More of the soft stuff, so not the infrastructure and that kind, but more of the community engagement and visioning, or what we call it a redevelopment strategy. So, and then move forward to the Public Transportation Advisory Committee. they are working on parking management recommendations. So they are planning to kind of have draft finalized recommendations at the next meeting tomorrow, and those will be forwarded to the council. So stay tuned for that. Encourage you to come or watch. And we will have our inaugural long-range planning subcommittee July 16th. And we'll be discussing stormwater management assets, the asset management plan. Representatives will be Ray Pierce, town engineer will be here, along with DES, kind of go over that and kind of look at that asset management plan, for short, medium, and long term. So kind of our first topic of discussion. Beyond that, since we've
For the long range plan,
so we do have a couple notes. And Jeff, you know you're in Concom. If you can find someone in Concom.
Me and the conservation.
Did you post that we're looking at?
Not yet. So I basically got 2 school board members. I have
for public outreach, for public, any of the positions at the planning board, anything that you have position.
not yet. So
So you're having a meeting in July.
yeah, I know. But it'll be after the planning board meeting. Yeah.
A point.
And you can appoint projects. Let's see. 14 Elm, haven't received any new applications from them yet, so we're still working on that. 200 New Road, go get an update on that, so I'll start there. I'm anticipating 3 North Main Street to file for technical review soon. I think we're getting ready. Probably see that in July. Stay tuned. And then another one on the radar, if anyone tuned into the zoning board last night, we granted a variance for 37 Exeter Road. There's a wetland variance. Basically, it's a very small lot, and they have to approach it with buffer. And there's they made the case that there's, with the regulations, you couldn't meet them. They were disturbing the buffer, so they got removed from that.
Because we had no jurisdiction on the special use permit because of this.
Correct, so they got removed from the special use permit, so they won't apply for that.
They don't need to come to the planning board.
Yeah, they do for architectural review.
They don't need comment from Concom on the wetland buffer impact?
They got variance.
Our requirement, because they were within 150 feet of the brook.
They're approaching into the buffer, so,
Also being qualified under the, we had no jurisdiction because under the special use permit, if it's within 150 feet. We couldn't grant the special use permit because our ordinance specifically states that we can only grant it if it's not within 150 feet of the defined, water lines. So
They impacted the overlay buffer, the 25.
They're going to 25 feet.
So then
it's
they don't
different.
have to
I'm talking about
get.
the special use permit.
Right, but I'm just talking about the impact. I'm not talking about the planning board, the conservation commission for comment.
Right, they would have to go through that process.
But did they get they got a variance from the impact of the buffer, correct?
They're impacting the buffer.
Right, so therefore, the ordinance doesn't apply because now they have a variance from it.
Right, but either way, it doesn't. I mean, that's the only way you can impact the buffer, isn't it?
My point is, it doesn't apply anymore because they've got a variance from the ordinance, so they're not required to.
So basically, they're seeking a variance from it because they would not have, it's now a driveway crossing. So it goes to the more stringent wetland buffer impact, and they couldn't meet those regulations, especially permit criteria, so they get variance from that. So it's either increase the buffer space somewhere else in the lot if they're impacting it, or off-site impacts it, or preservation. And they demonstrated to the board that they couldn't do that.
I guess what's a case that the Concom would be asked for comment and wetland impact?
If they didn't get the variance from that section, then they would have to go to Concom for comment.
But the Concom can't grant.
No, they advise the planning board.
So in that case, if they were denied at the zoning board,
We would not have jurisdiction over it because of the way our ordinance is written. We can't grant a special use permit if what's the specific section of our ordinance?
155.
The way that it's written, they would have to go to the variance because we don't have jurisdiction over it because of the location. We can only grant a special use permit if it doesn't impact within the 150 of the particular designated Link River, Great Bay, Moonlight Club has to be, right? Falls Brook. So we can't grant it if it falls within 150 feet, which is what that's.
it's really strange to me that if the zoning board grants the relief, the Concom doesn't get to say anything, but if the planning board grants the relief, the Concom does.
The variance from the whole section, so.
Right.
It's not always for comment to say do or don't do, it's also comment on the impact and remediation and stuff.
I mean, this is a case where the Conservation Commission should send a representative to the zoning board. For the hearing, are they advised that the hearing?
No, they're not.
That's kind of where I'm coming from. It's like, it's an end around the,
Okay, I mean, because the applicant has to get the variance, has to provide, the case on the 5 criteria. So there's a disconnect between.
because it's an overlay district, not a buffer. I thought you could get a variance from the overlay district, but you could go a buffer.
It's in the zoning laws, and the ZBA has jurisdiction over there.
All of it exists. That's why there's a ZBA.
No, I know, but I thought there's a difference between a wetland overlay district and a wetland buffer, and the difference is they're treated differently. Like one you can't get a variance from, one you can.
You have the right to get a variance from any regulations if you can prove if the zoning board agrees with the case you're presenting. That's the reason there exists a zoning board of adjustment.
No, I know, I understand, but I thought that was the difference between an overlay and a buffer. Because an overlay district is different. Yeah, that's okay.
But whatever it is, if we're getting relief from. It's not, but why is it coming before the planning board?
Downtown overlay district. No, but it's architecture.
Okay.
Unless this, so actually, I take that back. I'm sure the ownership check, if he's gonna rent them, if it was rented or condos. So it could be subdivision. Okay, so that's that. Next, wayfinding. We had a contractor. It's EF Design Planning. It's Liz Durfee. She's the person that did the downtown riverfront chapter for a master plan. She's partnered with ACL Design, and they will be Transportation Management Committee, Council, other boards, and Grand Railroad. So, kind of the question to you all is, I thought it may be a great opportunity if we got a couple of different boards together, sometime this summer for the community outreach. And it's something that we'll want to talk about the feedback tomorrow, but just want to put that in the radar that we'll be looking for comment. So started that process, and the whole purpose of this is to create signage to direct people to parking facilities that we have in town. People not familiar with Newmarket are aware of public locations and desirable locations. It's just create space for long time for process. Start this month and then this time next year. So it's been a timeline of aligned with a potential goal. Okay. On that, I was looking around August to give a presentation on all the work that we've been doing there. So we'll have that draft recommendations or presentation or draft recommendations. Pick up. So again, that'll be kind of on our work pile, but we have a couple of other things but again, at least we'll have those recommendations as well. This is August, and have an opportunity for us to develop all the rest of the year. Focusing on. And then for conservation, Rosa conservation moving forward. Still on track for closing. Same for Mitchell property, and we all remember that. The use of the open space bond, the rest of it, yeah, that's right. And so that's actually closed. Alright. And like I said, Shannon Park, resiliency grant, we're also part of the PhD, stormwater work. We are looking probably with funding sources. Already started that process. That's all I have. Yeah, so the resiliency grant is basically going to be the outreach portion. That's what we're using that money for. The stormwater revolving fund money will be for all the data collection, baseline data, and then continue the public engagement, baseline conditions. We'll move forward with concepts and more preliminary designs, but resiliency is part of resiliency.
Yeah, I just wanted that always had to be included in the application.
And it's part of our anticipated projects, or we're in front of advisors, really always, from almost the get-go, is looking at a living shoreline. So incorporating something like that, potentially downtown, and other mitigating infrastructure. But yes.
The goal of that is for phase one, because the goal is to get on you'll have preliminary construction costs at the end of the phase.
Right.
And the builders.
Yeah, based on, concepts, yeah. Also, we're working with the Woods Hole Institute and DES on basically, like they always say, hurricane models on how, different, so it's just an iterative modeling how flooding from hurricane storms we were one of the sites chosen because of our pump station being so close, and so we were a selected case study. So we'll be getting that report, sometime this fall from them. So we can incorporate that data I have to follow up with Lindsay. Do you have anything?
I think she was waiting to get data from Underwood. And then they would be starting sometime in September. They can't, actually, it's July 1st is the fiscal year. So they couldn't award it. They were going out for activity in the
They can use that money.
so she's got me. Okay. So long range plan subcommittee, we need to appoint.
We do.
We need a planning board member.
And I get two school boards.
We get the school board. And then any public members raise any interest? Are we doing, is there a particular application you're going on?
I'm gonna post it, and there's no like particular application, but I think what we'll do is post it, and if anyone has an interest, then they can submit a letter of interest for the board's consideration.
And you'll follow up with people that may have contacted you directly?
Correct.
Yeah, it might be good to reach out to the prior town council members or planning board members.
I'll do that.
And then we need an appointee from the planning board.
And alternate.
And an alternate.
You can always choose someone that's not here.
This is true. I'll make sure we don't need it.
I'd be happy to be the alternate.
Okay. Any other interest?
Oh yeah, Zunka's here too. He's on. Zunka, were you selected by town council? Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
I'm seeing that no one's fighting Bill over this. I'll appoint Bill to serve on the planning committee. It's just a one-year term.
I'll be happy to carry your briefcase for you.
Jay as the alternate. It would be good for alternates to also go to the meetings.
Yeah.
Quarterly. But I wanted to push it because your first one is July 16th as opposed to making it, the first and so on the 14th and then maybe the 16th. Will, you have it, Mark? 16th. Right, exactly. Yeah. Perfect. Okay.
And then it's just for school board. So there's Shalika, and then Lonnie Stebbins. Liz Shalika is the school board member, and we also have Lonnie Stebbins.
But they appoint, you don't vote.
Yeah.
How we have it set up.
Jeff Youngstown was on that. And then we'll do the and then we'll have a housing authority there.
Okay. Anything else? Hearing none, I will take a motion from.
Did I make a motion to adjourn?
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor?
Hey.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.